Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Repa FM. My name is Amechi Anapwe. We'll dwell on two key issues today. It's International World Health Day. 2026 is being celebrated today. You know, the state of healthcare delivery in Nigeria, unfortunately for the country, is coming at a time resident doctors are on strike. So it signposts the state of healthcare in Nigeria. We'll also be talking about the INEC. An electoral body is supposed to be not just neutral. Yes, it's not enough for you to be neutral. You must be perceived to be neutral. Now, perception, I tell people, is stronger than reality. What people think you are is different and stronger from what you are. You may be a bad person, but the perception you give out, the vibe you give out is a very good person. So the world will see you as a very good person when you're really a bad person. It's only the Almighty that sees beyond the ordinary that will know who you are and hold you to account on a judgment day. And so for institutions that are autonomous, that are independent, the word independent was added to it. That's why ICPC, independent, was added to it. I don't think there's any other organization or institution that has the word independent added to them. Others will say they're autonomous, this, that. But for these two, critical in the sense that they must not all just be independent, they must be seen to be independent. Now, is INEC independent or seen to be independent in the run-up to the election? We'll dwell on that, but let's quickly take a look at our health sector. Adeba Aboduri is there. Abulo Semoagu is there. For the 2026 federal health budget passed recently by the National Assembly, awaiting assent by the president, health budget is 2.4 trillion. This represents only 4.2% of the total national budget, far below the 15% target set by the 2001 Abuja Declaration. So, Abuja Declaration advised government to make sure that the health component of our budget is 15%. For education, did they say also? Yes, 20%. But for 2026, 4.2%. If you calculate that of education, you burst out in laughter. It tells you the thinking among government circles on how to fund these two critical parts of our development efforts. You see a lot of money going to recurrent, where the likes of the Comptroller General of Federal Fire Service will take a long convoy to his village in Kogi State in like a triumphant entry into Jerusalem, where people will welcome him, wasting taxpayers' money unnecessarily. A regular folk, a regular citizen, behaving like a demigod, and it represents what many of them in government circles do, how they waste public funds that should have gone into healthcare and gone into education.
Thank you, Amishi, and good morning to our in the studio. And I will say hello to our listeners and viewers on YouTube. You know, I have said that story here, and I will continue to say it. When you want to measure the standard of health in Nigeria, go to the public health centers, go to the general hospital, go to the premier hospital in Abuja, National Hospital. If you have chronic disease that took you there, your chronic disease is lesser than the chronic disease that is facing those health centers. You go to a premier health center. There's nowhere for you to urinate. You have to either drive out,
or you do bush method,
or you do bush attack, It is terrible. When Buhari was in power, his son was in an accident, and people were praising him. He was not taken outside the country, and he was treated in Nigeria.
He was treated here. They took him to Germany
in a
private hospital
first.
They took him to Germany, and the German said they have done all the work they needed to do. There was nothing for them to do any longer.
So you can see the challenge we are facing. They were applauding that first and foremost, at least patronized the health center in Nigeria. The health center they patronized was a private health center very close to Garki Market in Abuja, not the National Hospital, not general hospitals, because they knew that, not the State House Clinic, because the standard,
we have billions of naira.
The standard is very, very low. And when you have such things, then you keep on wondering what is the connection to our health center. The states are not better than federal. They are busy building airports, new government houses, conference centers. These are infrastructural development.
Did you see the one a general hospital in Enugu State where a nurse did a video and showed no light, and the next thing she was suspended?
So you see, so we are facing the health center in Nigeria, health sector in Nigeria rather, is facing severe problems. There is a massive movement, migration of doctors outside the country. By the recommendation that was made, with the population of Nigeria today, we are supposed to have at least 300,000 doctors in public hospitals. But what do we have? 35,000. And all the doctors are in Saudi Arabia, they are in US, they are in England. I will say it. I fell on snow in Canada, and by the time I arrived London, my leg was swollen. I was driven to a public hospital in London, and I can tell you that those who attended to me were Nigerians. Even the nurses that attended to me, they were Nigerians. Only one white lady joined them later, and it was as if I was in Lagos discussing with my fellow countrymen. So you see how you go to anywhere you go, you see Nigerian doctors, you see Nigerian nurses, you see Nigerian pharmacists, you see Nigerian laboratory technologists. They are all there, even in Saudi Arabia. Okay. So what is causing all this? What is causing it is poor remuneration. Underfunding. Very severe underfunding. Yeah, we keep on applauding highways have been constructed. Yes, we need highways. What about the human beings that will make
airports?
What of the human beings that will make use of those highways? I think there's need for a serious rethink, that critical sectors like health and education should receive priority. And then you see there are pharmaceutical challenges. The president came up with policy of easing local manufacturing of pharmaceutical products. But where are the pharmaceutical companies? They are relocated to Ghana because of the condition in Nigeria.
Okay.
So we are now importing drugs from Ghana. We are now importing 70% of the drugs we use in Nigeria are from Asian countries, particularly India. So these are situations that we should be able to focus and address as a nation. The health of the citizen must matter. We cannot be sloganeering health for all.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth when they are not achievable with the policies we are implementing.
Abulu, before year 2000, as a young man, I kept hearing health for all by year 2000, housing for all by year 2000, this thing for all, food for all by year 2000. Year 2000 came and passed. It was fairer now than where it was. Maybe we start shouting, SDG, we start shouting, health for all by year 3000. Me and you will not be there by that time.
After the 2000, you had the MDG, Millionaire Development Board, that ended in 2015. Then you have the SDG that is booked in at 2030. And I tell you, the situation is appalling. When you go to about the 37, 38 tertiary health institutions we have in Nigeria, with the over 90 general hospitals we have in Nigeria, when you go there, you see a very, 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 very pitiable situation of not even the patients now, the doctors. And they don't have kids to work, and they don't have the condition of service very poor. Now, out there in other clients, two major yardsticks both have used is health and education. Before we talk about work and welfare and children. So, what's the state of health in Nigeria? What's the state of education in Nigeria? That is what they use to score people in UK and in other countries to give them marks. Have you done well in education? Have you done well in health? Now, the Bible will talk about people in Japan, living in the not what are they pushing? He said foreign everyone. Two, how are they able to? The other time, he was minister of labor, and he was saying second
And that those behind should also hustle into tailoring to make ends meet.
So now you have a situation whereby the doctor gets the hospital, decides to work in Nigeria and doesn't have a syringe. I visited a pharmacy the other day, and what they were using is they use syringe to give injection. They use. They just remove it, put it by one corner. When another patient comes, they carry it.
For where? What you're raising is very.
It's very
Do you have evidence, or are there mere allegations?
The one I saw, I will not call it, but we're investigating. But they are all over.
Okay, let's investigate and come out with this.
All over the country, you have such issues where they manage a syringe, and this is the syringe that they told us can cause AIDS, HIV infection, can cause
many communicable infectious diseases.
So it's a pity we found ourselves in Nigeria. I mean, there's no that very painful aspect of it. Health does not operate alone to succeed. What about the environmental health operators? We have so many persons that go to school and turn out as environmental health practitioners. Yet, from this hill, you drive down there, open defecation, smell everywhere.
Okay.
So the health situation in Nigeria goes beyond the condition in the hospital. What about the environment?
That will prevent this basic. Quite right.
So
what Abul is saying is that the bulk of the sicknesses being diagnosed and treated at our primary and perhaps at secondary healthcare centers are preventable. Yes. If the drains are not blocked, if there are no waterlogged, you won't find mosquitoes. If you have no open defecation and you have potable water, there won't be cholera and all those bacteria and water-related diseases. But because government has failed to put money in these critical areas that will affect you as a citizen, that's why they focus on the economy and forget you. Now, after the COVID-19, and we commend the Buhari administration for putting in so much money into our tertiary health institutions. Many of the teaching hospitals were upgraded, trillions of naira were plugged in, and I can tell you that investment has not been sustained. What we need is sustenance of such investment, and we also need the states to follow suit and invest heavily because these federal tertiary institutions are limited across the country. The states should, and FCT should focus attention on the secondary ones. And of course, local governments are supposed to take care of the healthcare centers. The general hospitals you have, they should be the playground for the state. Did they also push in so much money? Are they planning to do so? We are shouting on this because of the need for government to invest money, expend public funds where you will benefit. Ogun State Commission inaugurated an airport. Even Kogi is building. Many Abia building. Within a span of 100 kilometers or 150 kilometers in Nigeria, you drive through 3 airports. That's the standard. That's the competition now.
It has built.
Yes, it has built. Is there any commercial airline operating there? They will make arrangements like Bayelsa did. Fly into our place. The seats that are not paid for, government will pay. So they use public funds to subsidize the rich because it's the rich that fly. Ekiti, I don't know any airline that will want to fly into Ekiti. I don't know the number of Ekiti people.
When you have an airport in Akure which was built in 1981.
Yes,
like
from Akure to
45 minutes. If the road is good.
Yes, but that's where they do it because that's an avenue to steal public funds. Yeah. Those are huge projects that will run into tens of billions, but they get their 30% of it, they are made. But if they invest in you, education and health, where you benefit directly. I had a nephew with me on holiday with me. He took ill Saturday night. I took him with my wife to a private hospital. What I spent there, he was not even admitted. By the time they ran all the tests and did everything, what I paid was far above the minimum wage. So if you're a public servant and your minimum wage, don't go to that place. Go elsewhere. Some of us can afford it. But what about those poor Nigerians out there? That's why we are raising the campaign. Government to shoot at all levels, 15% of the annual budget on health, 20% of annual budget on education, apart from security. When you do this, the people directly benefit. Let's hear from you. Let's share some of the emails you have with us. When we come back, INEC, is it truly independent? As the Constitution says, because it's the creation of the Constitution, we interrogate that.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Onoshirena Obozege. Welcome to the mail segment.
And I am Aichida Majekotomi.
All right, our first mail is from Abuja, sent in by Pastor Shewun Adeagbo. It says, congratulations to the Ogun State government for the inauguration of the state airport. But beyond the opening of the airport, what next? A lot of questions begging for answers. Like how many residents of Ogun State can afford airport fare from Ogun State to Abuja? I don't understand all this craze of building state airports that are not viable. How many people in those states can afford to a flight to Abuja? Rather, all these governors should be thinking of connecting their states with train, which has many benefits than airport. It will be more affordable, more safer, and also reduce road traffic. God should give our governors more wisdom to do what will benefit the people more than just thinking about themselves and few elites. They should go and ask Lagos State government how much the state is making from water, BRT, and rail transportation daily. A stitch in time saves nine.
And Abraham from Lagos says, I want to bring to the public the frustration caused by the delay in signing the forms submitted to the Minister of Interior by various owners of private guards companies. While we all praise the effort of the present Minister of Interior in sanitizing the various units under his ministry, we are surprised that he has not signed application forms submitted to him since he resumed office for close to 3 years now. People have paid between 2.5 million naira and 3 million naira to the ministry through federal government remitter. After the rigorous vetting process by the DSS and Civil Defense Corps, ex-servicemen are left in frustration as there is no other job they know better. Their severance packages have been paid for the license. He should please sign the forms on this table while he continues with his notable reformation process. Thanks.
And from Lagos is Ugochukwu Godwin. It says, the rate at which mask police officers and those on mufti operate in our roads is getting alarming with the level of insecurity in the country. Why will policemen wielding guns operate in daylight without identification? They stop cars at will and take them to a corner, threatening the owner with a language like "lose guard." The new IGP should have a detailed plan on how to reform the police. We have not been able to manage the fallout of SARS. At this rate, the country can't withstand another SARS debacle. The IGP managed the RRS in Lagos and they were termed the good boys. Let that template be installed into policing Nigerians. Some governors have started launching vehicles in their hundreds to police in their state. Within 1 month, you will hardly see these vehicles. What is still holding the National Assembly and the president from the state police they promised? There is no better time than now. He should not wait till after the election.
And Comrade Monday Ame in Abuja is saying, I wish to use this medium to commend President Bola Tinubu for approving the payment plan to finally settle the outstanding debt under the Presidential Power Sector Financial Reforms Program. Outstanding debt, which accumulated between February 2015 and March 2025, and following the painstaking verification, 3.3 trillion naira was amicably agreed as full and final settlement. As the implementation began with 15 power plants signing settlement agreements totaling 2.3 trillion naira, with the federal government raising the sum of 501 billion naira to fund these payments, out of which 223 billion naira has been disbursed. I call on government to ensure a commensurate and reciprocating of service leading to improvement in power supply nationwide for Nigerians and businesses. Additionally, as a staunch supporter of President Tinubu, I urge him to declare a state of emergency on the power sector by rejigging and relieving the current Minister of Power of the critical position with immediate effect, and replacing him with a core professional in the energy sector who is conversant and vast with the nitty-gritty in the sector, understood the politics of the entire gamut of the power sector value chain.
And finally, our mail is from Port Harcourt, sent in by John Peters. It says elections are meant to be the purest expression of the people's will, a peaceful opportunity for citizens to choose leadership based on ideas, competence, and vision. Yet, a troubling question continues to echo across our democratic space. Do we truly seek a transparent democratic process, or we are gradually celebrating those who rig best as master strategists? It suggests that outcomes may already be predetermined and that the ballot becomes a mere ritual rather than a genuine decision of the people. Such a mindset weakens institutions, discourages participation, and erodes public confidence. Citizens begin to ask, why vote if the result is already arranged? And when people lose faith in the process, democracy itself is placed at risk. A true democracy thrives not on manipulation, but on credibility. It strengthened when votes count, when rules are respected, and when victory reflects the will of the majority, not the ingenuity of those who can outmaneuver the system. So again, the question remains, what do we really want? A nation where elections are decided in back rooms, or one where leadership emerges from the ballot box?
And that is all we have on the mail segment this morning. Keep on sending in your mail to us at politicalplatform@dargroup.com with your name and where you're writing from.
Thank you so much for the mails on our YouTube channel. Emmanuel Analika is saying, welcome OBO. OBO has run away. Okay, let's take this one from a solo came in somewhere. In Edo State, primary healthcare is now expensive to access. The management is inflating the price. When price of healthcare is high, you're killing your people. Now, let's take this one also from Bankole Atiba. It says, John Hopkins Center, regarded as the best surgery place in USA, still sends referrals to Germany. We should continue to pressure our government to upgrade. Yes, there are referrals that were coming to Nigeria in the past. It's not rocket science. In the 60s and 70s, Saudi members of the Saudi royal family were coming here for treatment.
So you say Shina in Ibadan.
So it's not rocket. See, if we can do, if we had done it in the past, we can do it better. A lot of complaints on YouTube about low mic. So the problem was Abulu takes slack so back from the mic, so he's getting close to it. Our apologies for that. We'll rectify it. Okay, INEC.
INEC, you see, in the history of Nigeria, from the First Republic, there's this perception when you appoint somebody as to share the electoral body, and also you have national commissioners and state resident electoral commissioners. There's this perception that they are put there by government to do their bidding and facilitate their electoral victory. It was pronounced in the First Republic, which led to the resignation of Iswa, the first chairman of National Electoral Commission in Nigeria. He resigned in 1964. And 1965, rather. He said, I will not allow myself to be used. I have left Lagos. I've returned to Calabar.
To live in peace.
To live in peace. Iswa was a labor activist. He was then the president of Nigerian Union of Teachers. And from there that he was appointed. He was independent-minded. And he resigned. So, and if you look at from First Republic to Second Republic to aborted Third Republic to present day Fourth Republic, perception is there. So how do you prove that this is wrong, that I am independent-minded and I can do the job without being teleguided or without receiving instructions or external influences? The best way you can do is to take decisions that will prove that. And so far, the new man at INEC, a senior advocate of Nigeria, a professor of law, he has retraced his steps 3 times. I do hope that we will not continue to witness that. You take decisions and you reverse it. These are not too good for an electoral body that is in
3 key decisions that were reversed. The first one, the election dates for the first election days were reversed. The second one was the date, final day for the submission of a membership list. It was wrong. They reversed it. The last one was the issue of revalidation of permanent voters card. It was reversed. So 3 key actions. This new INEC chairman, and 3 of them reversed. And you say he's competent?
So my worry, where are those experts in INEC? Because I have, as a reporter, I have covered INEC, and I covered it for more than a decade. And there were experts in that place at that time that you can say these are common, that are knowledgeable in conducting elections.
Those with institutional memory.
Where are those who replace them? Are there no institutional memory in such a way that they will know what steps to take? I think the chairman of INEC needs to prove that he's really independent and he's taking decisions that will guarantee free, fair, and credible polls. Anything short of it, it will go into history in a manner that will not be palatable. I do hope we will not fall into that category. He must allow that the perception people have do not reflect the reality of what he is doing. That is the best he can do. And if you look at the paper, if you look at the papers today, this issue, almost all the papers were raising those critical issues. Whether is INEC independent?
And it's dangerous for our democracy.
Yes.
When the electoral body is perceived not to be independent, it spells danger. I don't know whether they are seeing the dangers we are seeing, or they are just unconcerned.
I think they should be concerned. They should be concerned about this perception.
You know, the viciousness of some politicians, even if the president who appointed the INEC chairman stays away or don't make any comment or don't use his body language to say that, okay, I'm directing the INEC chairman to do as I please. He has adjutants. There are vicious people around him. There are sycophants around him who will take advantage and be teleguiding the INEC chairman. So until that procedure, that process of appointing INEC chairman changes, I bet you it will be like forcing a camel into the eye of a needle if you think that the INEC man sitting there and his people will go the other way. But we hope that Amupiton will think twice. He's a religious man from his the profile. He's a religious man. He's a family man. He's a lawyer. He's a good lecturer, as they've commended him. But people like Dalong will tell you no, that that man will not deliver. The opposition.
He alleges that he lacks integrity.
Integrity, because he's a just man. He was in Plateau State University of Jos, and he understands the personality of Amupiton. I'm not there to judge him. All we are saying is that let there be credibility in the exercise, because I bet you said something about perception. You know, when we talk about corruption perception index in Nigeria, Nigeria is very good. Yeah, it's corrupt. What is the credibility perception of Amupiton? So there are a lot of questions begging for answers. Over 1 trillion is given to him to conduct election. I just saw now. Under 1.01 trillion. Then there's another budget. There's another service-wide approval for post-election issues, about 135 billion. I just saw in the papers that will be approved.
No, it's part of the budget for
it's not part of it.
Litigation.
It's not part of it. It's not part of the budget to conduct election. That's for litigation.
Post-election litigation.
So when you see all these monies flying around, how do you expect a man not to be corrupt? Power corrupt, absolutely. So the INEC chairman must. The ADC youths have given him 72 hours to withdraw the recognition of David Mark and Co. We hope he listens, because the apprehension is there that somebody teleguiding the INEC chairman to see that one party goes through, one party field candidate, one party succeeds. So we're going to have maybe a semi-referendum or maybe a referendum at 2027.
Chisara David says, the show of shame, that's from our Twitter feed. The INEC has exhibited is that which the people keep saying they won't vote, to ask who are those who vote. Yes, if the level of credibility of INEC, the electoral body, reduces, young people, and many of them have written to us to say they may not vote. And like I said, it's not good for democracy. It spells danger.
It's not.
Danger in capital letters in color red.
Yeah.
If you have not noticed it, what we are seeing is danger in capital letters, red color. INEC must be independent. Samuel Olayinka says, I've been wondering why the president is interested in Amopita, but the picture is getting clearer. Moses Enemena says, Okogie Airport should be within Ajaokuta and not Lokoja Road. I spoke with, just after the last election, a very close ally of the former
chairman, the general election, okay.
Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and he told me he was with him, and what the man told him was that immediately after that election and the issue of IRF came up, that he couldn't work for presidential election, that when you Google his name, you think you're searching for the devil. What the Google search engines threw up so negative that you think you are researching the devil. So I don't know how Mahmoud will be looking back at his tenure, people's perception of him, and now this professor, a senior advocate, it's still early for him. He should remember, be more concerned about what people will say about him when he leaves office. When he leaves this earth, just like any of us, what people will remember is the good deeds or the bad deeds you do. That's the legacy you leave behind.
There's a caution I want to put out there, Amechi. People that are accusing those challenging the credibility of Amopito should be very careful, because there's some people in government don't say anything wrong with Amopito, and they say those that are challenging his credibility are in the opposition, opposition apologists. No, don't go that trend. Okay. Look at the man and see whether he's credible and in the middle. Not thinking it's the opposition people that are crying foul.
Credibility, just like trust. You earn it. You don't trust me because I'm the anchor of this program. You trust me because I've been consistent in what I'm saying and consistent in what I'm doing. The same way you trust that your doctor who has been trained in our medical system will save your life. So for those that want to be seen as credible, earn it. So to the INEC chairman, earn the trust of our citizens. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good time.